if you pressured me to sum up Kirby and the Amazing Mirror in one sentence, it would be the sum of Kirby's adventure and Kirby Superstar's The Great Cave Offensive, with just a dash of Super Metroid. Amazing Mirror has the player trek across 9 different areas, all connected over a main hub in order to track down the 9 fragments of a broken mirror. Each area is quite large, yet most of the individual boards are unique in design. The first 2 areas branch out just enough for you to get used to the idea, but you won't really get lost until after you defeat the first boss. Each area has a map to track down, which will show you which room you have been in and which you have not visited yet. You'll have to refer to the map frequently in order to keep your bearings. Even then, there is a good chance that you will lose your way, especially since some of the paths are only in one direction, and maps do not indicate which doors lead to where. The wrong choice may lead to a good 10 or 20 minutes of backtracking. On the plus side, some trails do lead to gold minigames in which Kirby rides Warp Star in order to collect batteries, food, and 1-ups. You may have not reached the boss, but the minigame does relieve some of the stress. Shortcuts between areas can be found throughout the world map, and they can really take the burden off of exploring. Kirby can also use his cell phone to call his Warp Star, which will take him back to the central hub. The controls in Amazing Mirror are amongst the tightest and most responsive in the series. Kirby's jumps are precise, and Kirby moves swiftly through narrow corridors. At no point has Kirby kicked the bucket due to an unresponsive or floaty controls. In an empty map, you would have no trouble navigating its twists and turns. Unfortunately for you, enemies are everywhere, and more often than not, they will get the drop on Kirby. Only a few enemies won't give out special abilities, so there'll be plenty of chances to try out different copy abilities. Unfortunately, there will also be plenty of chances to lose your copy ability. Amazing Mirror plays by Kirby Adventure rules, and that one hit will cost you your ability. You have the chance to recover it, but more often than not, the chaos of the fight will lead to a cycle of taking a hit, regaining your ability, and only to find yourself taking another hit and watching the ability star fly out of Kirby again. In those cases, it's best just to move on and find another ability. This mechanic proves to be a nuisance in most cases, but when the game calls for ability-based puzzle solving, losing the essential ability can be incredibly frustrating. Compound this with the aforementioned backtracking, and you'll be putting the controller down for a breather or 2, or 3 in my case. While the ease of losing abilities is an exercise in frustration, the abilities themselves are extremely well balanced. With the exception of the New Game Plus ability, as well as the rarely occurring Smash ability, Amazing Mirror has no single power which stands above the rest. Enemies and areas have strengths and weaknesses to certain abilities, which encourage players to change up abilities often. Even run-of-the-mill Kirby is able to hold his own in the GBA adventure. Aside from the sprawling map, the other hook in this title comes from the 3 other Kirbys that will be exploring the world along with you, and sometimes helping the player out. I say sometimes because the Kirbys will have their own priorities, which may or may not include you. There are only a few times where you will need the other Kirby's help, but these moments can be immensely frustrating. I'm sure this issue could be resolved with the multiplayer function, but, well, this is the Virtual Console port, so that option is out. Fortunately, the advantages of 4 Kirbys easily outweigh the disadvantages. These Kirbys explore the world on their own, gathering abilities and health. However, none of the AI Kirbys will complete any critical elements of the game. Every goal and major boss is up to the player to complete, so don't worry about missing anything out because one of the Kirbys got ambitious. If you call them over using your Kirby cell, they will bring you food and sometimes an extra life. Calling your fellow Kirbys is especially advantageous during tough boss fights. If you die during the boss fight with the other Kirbys on screen, the game will stop just as it would in a normal death, but instead of restarting the fight, you'll simply pick up where you left off. You'll have to strategize when it comes to your Kirby calls, however, as the Kirby cell phone only allows up to 3 calls before it needs to be recharged. Batteries to recharge the cell are scattered throughout the world, but they are not so plentiful as you can mash the Kirby call button. This will require players to pick and choose their calls carefully. When all is said and done, Kirby and the Amazing Mirror's strengths also become its greatest weaknesses. The one-hit ability loss is a tough element to get over, but Amazing Mirror does not have the raw difficulty of its NES cousins. Even if Kirby's ability is lost, another is just around the corner. Having 4 Kirbys is an interesting element, but its potential is cut short by the Virtual Console. Despite these shortcomings, its strengths far outweigh its weaknesses. Its solid platforming, exploration, and balance of abilities exceed those of the previous entries of the series. I give Kirby and the Amazing Mirror for the Wii U Virtual Console an 8 out of 10.